and White Wankers, welcome back to the rest of the beer Huntress. I hope you're all exceptionally well. You all know the crack by now, and we're going to spin the wheel. It's going to pick a style for us. I'm going to pick a beer from there and do the tasting notes. So, without further ado, shall we check out what I'm going to be drinking this evening? Here we go. Rest of the world. Excellent. So we can go pretty much anywhere I like outside the UK. Let's do it. So we landed on rest of the world, so I get to pick a beer from anywhere outside the UK that I wanted to. So I decided, why don't we go to Denmark today? And I've picked a brewery that I'm hoping a few of you will know. This is Untappd, and this is their Mr. Blue 2019 edition, which is an Imperial Blackcurrant Stout. So Untappd is Danish for two beers. And the brewery started out as a home brewing project in 2005, but didn't actually cut it into the commercial world until 2010. The two founders were Thor Gunther and Tobias Emil Jensen, and they were the young guns that were studying at the high school in Nørrebro in Copenhagen. During the school's closing hours, the two of them would pirate the school catering and kitchen facilities in order to turn it into their own brewing lab and producing different beers for their family and friends. The first proper beer was released in 2010, and they were gypsy brewing up until 2019, so they were utilising other brewers' equipment in order to be able to produce the beers out to the commercial world. In 2019, they took on a former food factory and they've turned it into their full-blown brewing kit, and they've also got a full craft beer bar in there as well, and it's called Tool City. The brewery entered Rate Beer's top 100 best beers in the world in 2012, and in 2014 it was awarded the 9th best brewery. This is a part of their Mr. series, and this is the third of the Mr. Blues of the series. So they have a Mr. Orange, a Mr. Pink and a Mr. Blonde as well, all inspired by the Reservoir Dogs film. Let's crack it open and take a look at it. This year's Mr. Blue has definitely turned to the dark side, as you can see. It is an infusion of an Imperial Russian Stout with added tartness of the blackberries in it, so this is going to be quite an interesting combination of flavours. Taking a look at it, black as night, you can see that gorgeous, thick, dark brown head coming off. It's really, really heavy, thick head as well when we first poured it, so a lot of body to it. This is definitely going to be gorgeous. We're going to have a smell. Oh wow, yeah. It smells super rich. And the blackberries smell very, very tart. A lot of tannins going on there. You can smell the blackberry skins kind of thing, that kind of thing going on. There's a lot of roasted malt there as well, so we've got a lot of kind of coffee chocolate notes too. Wow. Oh, bizarre. Now that's interesting. A lot of complexity of flavours. Initially, right at the front, you get this really, really bitter, strong, dark chocolate kind of flavour. Then the kick in from the tartness of the blackberries and that blackberry fruit. Again, that tannin coming through, that fleshiness that I can taste. Really juicy, plump blackberries, that kind of thing. And then that tartness sticks and lingers a bit, but it's just overwhelmed by that strong, boozy, Very, very powerful kind of imperial ester kind of flavour. So I've got a really, really kind of full-bodied beer, but it's surprising how late that is because of the addition of the fruit. Initially it tastes quite sour and quite tart, but quite light, and then that thickness and fullness comes back. It's really silky, very, very smooth. That kind of red berries and that kind of fruit that's coming through is just gorgeous. It's not heading towards kind of like a sour thing, it's just a touch of a tartness, definitely almost red wine-esque, really, really thick and full. It's making me think of like a really, really strong, full-bodied red wine there. And getting all that kind of fleshiness off the fruit. Absolutely loving that kind of almost cacao kind of thing going on at the beginning. So I've got that really unsweetened dark chocolate there again. I've got that coffee. I've got that you know, really kind of bitterness to it, almost a savoury-esque kind of flavour at first. Hitting with that fruit, and then across to the back, just so much body and depth and weight, touch of booze as well. Gorgeous. So the Mr. series is inspired by Quentin Tarantino's film Reservoir Dogs. And the series has a selection of beers that are all named after the main characters. This is the Mr. Blue variant. One of the fascinating things about this is the bottle artwork. So on here we've got, as you can see, the CMYK, and this is the CMYK values that you would find in colours for printing and for other designs as well. So C is for cyan, M is for magenta, Y is for yellow, and then K is for key, which is black. So this actually shows this colour here. That's actually the lineup of the CMYK values in order to be able to create that colour. And for each of the ones in the series, they do exactly the same. And they have just a slightly different variation on the shade, depending upon which edition of Mr. Blue you've got, and you've got the corresponding numbers underneath. And yes, I have checked, and it does match. So I had to, because I need to check this. The tasting notes for this state that it is an imperial blackcurrant stout, and it combines the classic smoothness and profile of an imperial stout with the mouth-watering red berry sharpness coming from the blackcurrants. Full black body, and it's got this addition of extra kind of chocolate and licorice and caramel notes to it as well, and a very, very light blackcurrant acidity that sits underneath it all, which perfectly works with what I was saying. And this kind of offsets against the dark roast malts from there, and it closes on this really robust and really boozy finish too. And those tasting notes epitomise exactly what I was thinking when I first had this. It's got this really gorgeous black, thick, full body look to it. Then on the palate, we've got this really, really silky, really dark, really deep, Moorish kind of flavour, but all that balance between that initial kind of cacao flavours and that really strong dark roasted malts, almost kind of bitter malt coming through to it, and then this acidity coming through from the tannins, from the fruit, and then finishing with that gorgeous, thick, full, robust finish and that really, really nice booziness to it. So yeah, they've nailed the tasting notes on that completely. You just needed to read that really, you didn't need to watch my videos. Yeah. But I'm actually really impressed with this. Ta'ula, a brewery that I think are fantastic. I think they make some absolutely beautiful beers. First time I've had any of their Mr. series, and yeah, I was very lucky to get hold of this. I managed to get this as somebody thought it was going out of date, but if you actually look at the top, it said best before date is 2029, so I think I had a bit of time, you know, to finish this one off. It's just such this beautiful juxtaposition between these two styles. A really, really intense tart fruitiness with that really thick, full Moorish biscuit, toffee, really strong coffee, really strong chocolate, that licorice coming through at the back and just drying right at the top of the palate and just feeding in a little bit that extra depth to it. So yeah, it's just a really, really beautiful combination of the two flavours that wouldn't necessarily look like they go together, but boy do they go together well. Absolutely stunning. and it smells amazing. It smells so good. Sitting at a, not to be smirked at 10.1%. I think it tastes a lot stronger. It's got such a thick, full body. It's really holding its weight. That addition of the fruit mixed in with that booziness has just given it so much length. And you've just got this, you don't feel as though you have to rush it. You can sip it, you can savour it. You could spend all night drinking this because it's just got such a gorgeous, thick, full profile to it. If you've had this, guys, then let me know in the comments what you thought of it. Or if you've had any of the Misty series, then please let me know where you got them from for one, so I can get a few more, but also what you thought of those too. This is the last Beer Huntress episode that's going to feature inside the pub for the moment. We're going to have to move studios because the pubs will be opening. So yay, when this is being filmed, I'm actually due to open tomorrow. Oliver wanted us to have some party poppers to celebrate the fact that the pubs are opening, but we've just spent 5 days literally scrubbing this pub from inch to inch, so yeah, I'm not going to be doing that. I'm not going to be putting anything on the floor the next 24 hours. It can stay perfect. I will obviously see you inside the pub if you get the chance to come down and visit, and we'll be setting up the new studio, so you might see another Beer Huntress on tour in the meantime. But other than that, I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video as much as I've enjoyed drinking this beer. Keep watch banking, and I shall see you next time for another episode of Beer Huntress. Cheers! If you enjoyed this video, guys, then please like, subscribe and share it with your friends. Hit that notifications button to get alerts when our new video is out. We're also on Facebook, Twitter and on Instagram, so check out the links in the description and follow us on there as well. If there's anything you'd like to see us review, please pop it in the comments and we'll pop it in the pump for later. Keep watch banking, and I shall see you all next time for another episode of The Beer Huntress.